AJ, as I teased before Rina Sawayama, that was Catch Me in the Air, by the way. We have a special addendum to Senior Talk today. Rex Brandstatter and John Balmer will be talking about the World Series. Tommy Lang is in there as well. Hello.
I will be acting as a moderator. I'll be separating them if it becomes physical.
It's already physical.
Yes. I'm just kind of here to run the equipment. You guys should explain why you're here, how we set this up, and what we're talking about today here, this little bonus segment of Senior Talk.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Rex.
And I'm John.
And we are here to actually talk what we call talking baseball, because it's kind of a special year. It's an official World Series. What's that mean, John?
Well, from Frank Miller, the famed Des Moines Register columnist, it is an official World Series. He was a Yankee fan, plus the Dodgers. It's the 12th time we've met, and we're renewing the old Subway Series from Brooklyn.
That's right. You know, the Dodgers loaded up and left there in 1957, left Brooklyn for L.A., and a friend of mine says, why the heck they go to Los Angeles? What's wrong with them? I said, because the Walter O'Malley saw money, and the West Coast was underserved with baseball, and what a great move it was for baseball, not just the Dodgers.
And he outsmarted Horace Stoneham of the Giants and picked L.A. instead of San Francisco.
That's exactly right. And in my world, the heck with the Giants.
I would agree.
But I will say this about the Giants. In my opinion, they had the greatest all-around baseball player in baseball, and that'd be Willie Mays, in my opinion. I would say that the greatest hitter in baseball was Babe Ruth, the Yankee. And yes. I would say the greatest pitcher in baseball was Sandy Koufax, the Dodgers. So we got those teams all.
We got them covered.
Yeah.
Don't we? We got them covered.
You know, one thing I wanted to mention here today, right off the top here, there are two teams left in baseball, and the World Series is the mother of all. You know, it's the granddaddy of them all to figure out who's number one, and we'll get to that in a week or so. And we don't know, one or the other. But there are a lot of people who aren't here. Like, I don't see my brother's twins. I don't see Mace's twins. Who don't you see?
Well, certainly the White Sox aren't in it this year.
Yeah, I didn't see them a lot this year either.
Maybe not the Cubs. They're not.
I don't see the Cardinals.
They're the Cardinals. Yeah, we've got some really unhappy Cardinal fans because they have supplied the Dodgers with some players for this.
How would this segment have gone if it had been the Mets and the Padres?
Yeah, we wouldn't be here.
Or maybe, who else is Cleveland in there, maybe?
The national media wouldn't care.
I guess it couldn't be Mets and Padres, but you know what I mean. Yeah. They were in the running for a while there.
You know, the World Series, now I have to tell you, if you're listening and you weren't around in the 50s and early 60s, the World Series was only on during the day. And so if they played on if they were playing today and we were a kid in school, you were in school.
We sneaked our transistors in to listen.
Absolutely, I did, for sure. And that's what it was. The only time you ever got to see it was if they played the game on a Saturday or Sunday. But during the week, you got to see it at night. Tate Cummins on Channel 2 or Bob Brooks would have about 2 minutes of Yogi Berra hitting a home run. Yeah. It was always the Yankees. And that's what you always got to see of the World Series. So to this day, I like listening to baseball on the radio.
I do too. You know, they always said at the time, rooting for the Yankees was like rooting for U.S. Steel. You know, the big conglomerate.
Yeah, who'd root against U.S. Steel for God's sake? I don't. Well, you know, when I was a kid, we had a tube radio, and how does that? How do you get to be a Dodger fan out in the middle of flyover country? Because that's really a fair question,
sure.
Matter of fact. And I don't know how you got to be a Yankee. You can tell us, but I'd go up and down the dial at night with that tube radio, and you could bring in. And I would from Pittsburgh. I want to listen to baseball game at night. I got Pittsburgh, I got Cincinnati, I got Milwaukee, and I got St. Louis. And I started listening to these games, listened to all millions of games. But the one team got me because the leadoff batter was a guy named Pee Wee.
Harold Pee Wee Reese.
The second base was a guy named Junior Gilliam. And third place was a guy named Gil. I never heard that name in my life, Gil. And cleanup was a guy named Duke. Duke Snyder. So I became infatuated with. They got a little bitty guy named Pee Wee. He wasn't very big. And that's my kind of team. That in 1954. That's how I got to be a Dodger. I've been at it a long time.
I got to be a Yankee fan growing up with Mickey Mantle, and they were on TV every Saturday. You listen to Diz and Pee Wee. We were broadcasting games, and Mantle was one of those people that was just larger than life.
Yeah.
And saw him play in Minnesota a number of times. But Yogi was another one too. He was a classic.
Iconic players to baseball, absolutely.
And you go down to St. Louis to the Hill, and Yogi is still revered, and his family down in the Italian section of the Hill. So yeah, it has a long running production.
Sure. My folks bought me a Dodger jacket, my first Dodger jacket in 1958. And I wore it out, absolutely wore it out, and I cut the numbers. I cut the script Dodgers. Now, there are two most beautiful views in the world. Number one is the view of the American flag flying freely. And the other one is the script Dodgers jersey. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. No, and Yogi Berra was on the D-Day invasion in Normandy.
He was.
So he was one of those war heroes, and that came and survived. And he always talked about that fact that the bullets were whizzing by him.
Oh boy,
and
he's lucky he got to play baseball. A lot come home for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And he was one of the worst ball hitters around. He'd hit anything up that was up down.
He was always there. He's always in. He played that. He had fingers on every ring. He was always there.
Yeah, no, he was. His father never wanted him to play baseball. He thought it was a worthless game.
And his neighbor down the street was on the same team with Joe Garagiola, who I thought was a great announcer. He was not a very
tremendous
good baseball player, but he's better than I ever was.
He and Yogi were great friends.
Speaking of that, never mind. I got invited by the Cardinals to a workout. They invited two guys when I was in high school, two guys at every position. So I went there, and they had scouts up there, and they took our player Dale Hill the year before he started with us. So anyway, I got invited. Terry Davis and I, our second base, we got invited, and did the whole day workout. And they came around, and then they come back and they talk to you. Man, I'm bought in. And my plan was to get signed by the Cardinals, and they'd trade me to the Dodgers. That was honest to God. That's what I would.
Well, Dale Hill was a terrific athlete and was a great catcher. It was drafted from City High.
Isn't that so? Well, we got this series coming up, and I'll tell you something. In my opinion, on paper, this is a 50-50 deal.
I would agree. They've got power. Pitching will determine it, as it always does. If Aaron Judge has got to snap out of his slump, but you've got Soto and Stanton now that are.
Man.
So
it's you guys got a formidable team.
Well,
and
you do too.
That's kind of the fun part of it.
It is. It's
great. Nobody backed into this deal.
No.
One of the highlights of this season, of course, the Dodgers pitching. We don't have anybody on the starting rotation who was on the starting rotation on opening day.
That's right.
And our AAA team is Oklahoma City, and so they've got two guys that have been up and down 6 times.
6 times.
To Oklahoma City because the Dodgers pitchers are they got rubber. Their rubber arms are just not doing good. So the only guy we got left who was even there at the first start of the year was Kershaw, but he's out for the year.
Yeah.
And Walker Buehler is there, but they're hoping to get Flaherty. Jack Flaherty's going to start game
he's
1.
He's an old Cardinal.
Yeah, he is. And we'll see what happens. So honest to God, I think it's a 50-50. I'm a little excited about the fact that the Dodgers catcher Will Smith is the Dodgers have some power.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that short right field porch fence you guys got.
And so do the Yankees. So we'll see.
Yeah, I know.
we'll see how it's going to be interesting. I think I want offense, don't you? I like to see a lot of runs.
Right. And I haven't seen anything yet, but they're probably going to build this thing as Shohei Ohtani, the big slugger, and Judge, the big slugger.
Right.
It might turn out to be a pitching duel.
It could.
It always have. These guys got the biggest basketball scorer in the history of the world, and he gets 9 points.
Exactly. Well, Garrett Cole goes Friday for the Yankees. He's their Cy Young Award winner, so that'll be a big match. That's for the Yankees to get out of the gate.
Yeah. Yep, 6 o'clock, by the way.
I want to mention, when you mentioned Kershaw, a local product here, Zach Hamas, was drafted at the same time by the Dodgers.
He grew up 2 houses down from me on Grantwood Drive.
Yeah, right.
A little neighborhood kid running around and stuff. I remember him.
Great young guy. His father just passed away, Tim, who was a huge Yankee fan.
Yeah, he was.
And but I told Zach, I said, well, this World Series for your dad. So
yeah, good for him. I would like to point out that if it goes to Game 6, if it goes to Game 6, I said if, it will be played on Fernando Valenzuela's birthday.
Oh, Really?
Isn't that something? I mean,
That is so.
moon
Friday, November 1st?
Moon and the Star. Yeah, we lost Fernando Valenzuela, the Dodger pitcher, just for he was a kid in old Mexico, and his way out was he was a pitcher, and he got signed by the Dodgers for $120,000, and which is big money for them. That bought a lot of whatever they needed down there.
No
at the
kidding.
Time. And so the rest is history. And he won 168 games. His rookie year, 1981, which is not a good year for the Yankees.
Oh no, that's bad. That's our last time we met.
Yeah, it was
3 years ago.
Yeah, so the Dodgers, Fernando was a rookie of the year that year. He won won his first 8 games for God's sake, and he had an ERA of .50.
Unheard of.
Nobody couldn't hit him with a tennis racket. He was MVP, and he won the Cy Young. And he was the MVP of the World Series, I think.
Oh, he always interested me the way he pitched, and he crook his head back and look up to the sky and I thought he's distracting the
craziest windup. I know. How's he going to see the plate if he's looking up in the star? I couldn't figure that out. He's an iconic deal. Anyhow, he passed away. It's kind of a downer for the Dodger in baseball. They'll have to rally a little bit because he was a Spanish
That's right.
Announcer for him until what? A month ago.
Now, that 81 season was a strike-shortened season.
It was.
If I remember correctly.
Yep.
And we had Tommy John on our team, who used to be with the Dodgers at that time.
Yeah.
And but yes, there were some managerial moves made by the Yankee manager.
The Dodgers kind of specialize in short seasons. We had the strike season of '81. We had the COVID season.
That's right.
Took World Series both times.
Very good.
One other thing about the Dodgers this year I'm really, really proud of is it's not who you beat. In this case, they beat the Padres, but the Dodgers were down 2-1. And I'm telling you, the Dodgers in that second game they lost in L.A. They looked terrible. And I thought my wife, she doesn't like to watch games with me. It's like watching an Iowa game with me.
That's like my wife with me in the Yankees.
Get out of the way. Get out of the room. Go downstairs. Go on the porch. Watch this TV. So they're heading back to this is for my buddy Josh Schamberger, who's he's the only Padres fan I know.
He's a Padre fan?
Yeah, he grew up out in San Diego.
Wow.
So here come the Dodgers, Walker, and if you watch that game, the San Diego fans had their towels out, and they were just screaming and yelling, and the Dodgers beat them 2 games in a row and walked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kicked their butt. It was great.
That showed me something there.
And that's the beauty of baseball. Did you watch the Guardians the other night?
Yep.
The 10th inning home run in the 9th, and then that's baseball.
Yeah, I still call them the Indians.
That's why I do too. If you looked at the crowd, 98% of the guys in had Indians had Wahoo hats on.
Yeah.
And that's baseball. I love it.
Oh, I do too.
I'd watch a baseball game versus watching an Iowa football game on the road any day. That's just me.
Well, this year especially.
Of course, now I want to go back to 1977, 1978. That's
Thanks.
when
I'll sit here. I'll be nice.
We beat the Dodgers successive years, and Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, had the 3 home run game in the 77 series. So that was when the Yankees. That was after Steinbrenner had purchased the team and had really remade it. Because there was a long drought from 63 or 64 when they lost the Cardinals. 63 they lost to the Dodgers. Sandy Koufax and company shut them. Drysdale, and they wiped the Yankees out in 4. I can still remember that game. Mickey Mantle hit 1 home run off of Koufax.
He did.
That was it.
He did. That's right.
And
you guys, your first baseman was Joe Pepitone.
Yeah.
And I figured, what? He couldn't keep a hat on at that time. His hair was
because of his hair.
Yeah.
He was a little bit out of the ordinary for a Yankee.
Yeah, kind of what I thought too. Anyhow, I was on a Boy Scout camp out and got back on a Sunday morning. I came back on that for the weekend and watched that final game. Well, what a neat deal. So this baseball thing is just a wonderful sport, and it just says a lot about America.
Yeah,
I'm just excited, and it is a 50-50 deal. This is where you lay it all out and drag in anybody you can to pitch or hit, and if you're sitting in that Dodger bullpen, you got to be on your toes. He's going to come and get you.
Oh yeah. No, that's the beauty of this, like you say, Rex. And the national media just is eating this up because this is the one that they wanted to see happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you have the 2 biggest stars too, and arguably with Judge and Ohtani.
Totally agree.
No question.
I guarantee you that the media they didn't. they didn't want the Indians or I mean,
No,
I don't mind them.
No,
it's
no.
baseball. You win, you win. You know.
Yeah, but if truth be told, that's who they want.
Sure, more ads and they get more money for them.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Oh yeah. You start watching, folks. You're listening. You start watching for the World Series. It'll be Ohtani, pitcher, and judges all over.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it'll be billed as. Two sluggers, and you watch some of these Yankee home runs. That short porch and some of the Dodgers short porch doesn't mean much. I mean, they're jamming them up upper deck and
That's right.
left center and
That's true.
God. And Ohtani comes up and he hits it like 460 foot over the center field plaza. I've been to Dodger Stadium, which, by the way, is the third oldest baseball park in the country.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and I tell people, I'll tell you this, if you dropped a pizza upside down or a potato salad, I'd eat it off that floor. It is almost spotless place.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus the Rose Bowl
Yeah.
or or Soldier Field. You know, come on.
Well, remember when the Dodgers played in the Coliseum when they first moved out there?
I do.
You know, the Wally Moon
I had a
shots.
moonshot. So the Dodgers get a guy named Wally Moon from the Cardinals. And Wally Moon comes up. He bats left-handed,
Yep.
and they play in the Coliseum, which was the big long stadium.
Yep.
And left field was 212 feet or some stupid thing.
Yeah.
And Wally just hits.
And he was a left-hander, and
left-handed.
he could shoot him out that way.
He hit 9, or he hit
Yeah.
8 or 9 of them. They
Yeah.
call it the moonshot.
The moon shots. It was great.
Oh,
yeah.
it was one, and I have to tell you, if you sat in right field, you were about 5 miles from from home plate. I don't know how they did them. They filled it up.
Yeah, they did. And what they play there a year or two, Rex? I can't remember. 2. Okay.
It's a big stadium. They run NASCAR races inside of that.
They know. I know.
Big stadium.
It's a big stadium.
Oh God! Well, give me. I wrote some things down, but that's for you to answer. 5 greatest players of the Yankees. I was thinking about that.
Well, there's no.
Looks like you've already given your opinion on this one, Rex.
I put a question mark.
No question. Babe Ruth, Gehrig,
I agree.
Mantle.
I agree.
I think Yogi would have to be in there.
I agree.
DiMaggio and Derek Jeter, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jeter was talk about a class act.
To this day.
To this day, and I kind of check him off by the fact that he won at least 4 or 5 championships.
Oh, he did. Oh, no question. Oh,
yeah. You know, Mantle, grew up worshiping Mantle.
Sure,
as a lot of kids do. Of course, found out about his life later, and it was kind of a sad situation that he was kind of a victim of his own success in many ways. And the off season, he didn't have anything to do but drink, basically.
Boozed it up.
Yeah, but I saw him in Minnesota a couple times.
Yeah, I saw him.
Hit home runs, and certainly not around for Gehrig and Ruth, but know the history there.
For sure,
and you're. You know, you've got a lot of history, too.
Well,
right,
yeah, I'm going to go with my 5. I wrote down a couple of them here. I wrote down Sandy Koufax, Bob Oldus, who's Iowa City's most famous baseball player. He and Eddie Watt.
That's right.
I think he hit a home run off Koufax.
Did he?
So if you talk to Bob Oldus about Koufax, you go, just another pitcher.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like Bob. That's great.
So I got Sandy Koufax, and I got Jackie Robinson, of course, for God's sake. He not only was the first black guy to play in Major Leagues. He's a good player, really good player.
Great player.
And I got Roy Campanella, who also was a black guy.
Yeah.
And he was a catcher. He got injured in the car accident.
Paralyzed. Yeah,
for sure. And I got Pee Wee Reese and Clayton Kershaw and I Drysdale and
you had some great ones.
The Bulldog,
Duke Snyder.
Duke Snyder, my man. He's my man. So that's what I say. This thing is 2 franchises. The 2 most expensive. You sat down with a blank check and say, who are you going to spend the most money on to buy a franchise? It's going to be the Yankees, in my opinion. Yankees number 1 and Dodgers number 1 and a half. I don't know who else you buy. They're all good, but some are better than others.
The thing I liked about the O'Malley family with the Dodgers was they had Walter Olson as their manager for like 24 years, 1-year contract each. It just was amazing back in the day.
Oh, well, they had a string of 24 1-year contracts.
I know. And then the Yankees, of course, had Casey Stengel, the old professor, and like he said, when they fired him after the St. Louis 64 series, and he said, well, I should have never gotten old. That was...
Yeah. Oh, what
Actually, they fired Yogi after the 64. You know, they made Yogi the manager, and Yogi only won, got the World Series. I never did appreciate how they fired Yogi.
No. If you ever want to have some fun, folks, go on your computer machine and Google Casey Stengel appears before legislative hearing, congressional hearing.
Oh, yeah.
And when you get done, They walked out. Nobody knew
What he said.
What he said. It was absolutely hilarious.
Stingalese.
Stingalese, that's what they call it. Stingalese. You know, with Fernando had Fernando Mania.
Yeah.
And Casey Stengel had Stingalese, and you had it's kind of like listen to Ozzy Osbourne. You know, I have no idea what
we had characters on our team.
I was. Oh boy. Oh yeah.
That's what made baseball, Rex. The characters.
Oh boy. Yeah. Just off the top when we were kids. Vinegar Ben Mizell.
Yeah, Wilmer, Vinegar Ben Mizell.
And I never knew what that was. My dad said, you figure it out. Well, he was from Vinegar Bend, West Virginia. That's what that meant. I mean, nothing about vinegar. That's where he's from. You know, Suitcase Simpson.
Yeah,
Harry Suitcase Simpson. He played for like 9 teams in 6 years. He always kept his suitcase.
Kept his suitcase handy.
He kept Sad Sack Jones.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had, remember when we traded Moose Scourin to the Dodgers?
Oh, yeah.
For Stan Williams, the pitcher.
He did.
And that was there weren't many trades between the Yankees and the Dodgers, but that was a big one because Moose was one of our stellar. You know, he was one of the.
Oh boy.
And Moose he went to Purdue, and George Steinbrenner. That's where Steinbrenner went, was to Purdue. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting stuff.
Interesting. So
Stan Williams, is he from Council Bluffs?
No, you're thinking. No, I know who you're thinking of.
I am.
Yeah.
Bonson, Stan Bonson.
Stan Bonson.
Oh, my sorry. Yeah. Well, I just can't. I can't get enough of baseball. I was in a bar a sports bar in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. My business trip.
Your business trip. Okay.
And they're playing the Mets. You know, the Brewers and Mets are playing the playoff, and up comes the Mets first baseman, big old the white whale. Here comes the whale.
Yep.
No, what do they call him? Mets first baseman, the polar bear.
Yeah,
he's a nickname. He comes up, and I'm standing at the bar there and drinking my soda. And I said, "Don't pitch to this guy. He's their slugger." And these guys all had the Brewer shirts on. Don't worry. I said, "Do not pitch to him." He jacked a 3-run homer and cost him the game.
Yeah, he hurt the Yankees during the season too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my Mets friend. I've got a customer that comes into our place that is a Mets fan, the second Mets fan. He says, "Well, remember the Mets won the series with the Yankees this season."
Is that right?
I said, "Who's in the series?" But,
yeah, that's all you judge by.
That's all.
And quite honestly, no, I couldn't tell you why I can, but nobody remembers who finishes second.
No, never.
So make any difference. So
that's true.
And this series, I'm laying it out there for you, folks. So I know who's going to win. Do you know who's going to win?
Yes, I do.
See, we both know who's going to win.
I'm sure you do.
Isn't that interesting? We both know.
We got a friendly wager on this one. I'm going to let Rex decide what.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out here.
Are you going to watch any games together? Or are you going to be separated?
No, we probably won't. It's better that we don't. Then we can email or text.
He's on the east end of town, and I'm on the west end of town. West side of the river.
Yeah. You're West Coast, he's East Coast.
That's just about apropos, isn't it?
That's right.
You're on the east.
the left coast. We know Rex isn't left.
Oh, yeah. We'll back that up real quick there.
Yeah. But we're great City High grads, and that's when there was only one high school.
Yeah, one public high school. That's it. I played 3 years on the baseball. You were on the basketball.
Rex was a first baseman on the baseball team.
Yeah, and had a lot of fun. I was at the Coralville 75th anniversary for Coralville Elementary.
I heard about that. Mike Gatens was going to.
Oh yeah, and a guy walked up to me and he said, "Hi, Rex." And I'm standing. I didn't know him, Hot Rock, and I looked under and he had a name tag on. It was Ron Schnack.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, Coach Snack, sophomore baseball coach. I think I've seen him since 2 or 3 times since 1964.
Our teacher at City High, I see him every Tuesday morning. We have
you do?
The non-Optimist. We were the Optimist Club now.
He said if you ever come out in public and say you were the greatest first baseman ever, he said, "I'm coming down there and beat the crap out of you because you weren't." He said, "I got a letter." He said, I suppose.
I'll tell him when I see him. I'll say,
I probably was. I'm really looking forward to this thing. You know,
I am too.
Some of the other parts about the World Series, I have to tell you that I really, really enjoy. And my dad would go, "Oh, what are they doing? Hurry up, get the game started." They introduced the managers.
Yes.
They introduced the trainers.
Everybody. First game.
Everybody and their dog, first game. Yep. And it's a look for the red, white, and blue buntings all over the stadium. It's a special deal.
It is.
And it's almost like an opening day.
Yeah, it really is.
Which is a huge, in my house, opening day is a... Yeah. I wear this on opening day because opening day, the White Sox were optimistic. Everybody's unbeaten.
No losses.
Opening day. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can only go one way, Tommy.
Exactly. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that way isn't Nashville.
Bill Snyder, Coach Snyder, took the Kansas State job, and I was talking to him. He said, "Well, my buddy said, what the hell are you doing down there?"
Yeah, look what he did.
Yeah, he's they can only go up. I can't do any worse than what they're doing.
Boy, he did.
So that's where your White Sox are. The Twins. I don't know. I'm a prognostication here. My brother and his kid, my nephew, they're big Twins fans from 1965, and way back when Herb Carneal and
Halsey Hall,
and those guys used to call the games on WHO, and everybody was a big Twins fan. Except Rex, of course. But it's just baseball is a wonderful game.
When Steinbrenner owned the Yankees, he was pretty bombastic, as we know. And there was one of the series against the Dodgers. He claimed that he'd gotten into a fist fight with one of the Dodger fans.
No.
And of course, we don't know how true it was because there was some physical marks.
Oh yeah. Quick question. I wrote stuff down here. Do you like the pitcher time clock?
I do.
I think it's really helped. I do too. Because I don't hear any players complain about it.
No, I think it was needed because these pitchers were just going through all these gyrations, and I mean it's from the fans' perspective, it needed to happen.
I couldn't agree more. And then how about the strike box? You like that? I like the fact they put it up, but I don't want it to interfere with the game.
Yeah, but on television when you see a little box there.
And I don't want robots calling balls strikes.
Leave the game alone.
When that happens, I'm done.
That replay thing that came about so they could see if the ball went above the yellow line or not.
Right.
And now they use it to see if you're safe at first or safe at second. So it's 50-50. It worked for you, it worked against you. Yeah. Take it out of the game.
Yeah.
And I'll stand on one more mountain here is I don't like the DH, never have, never will. It's prolonged a lot of guys.
Careers, yeah. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it, frankly. The American League started it years ago, and it always was a mess in the World Series because the American League was certainly at a disadvantage, but now it's well even, so...
But it's been now the National League adopted over my. I wrote a letter to the National League telling them not to. I don't take this laying down.
What about interleague play? I know this goes back like 20, 30, 40 years. Probably 30 years. Did it lose some of the specialness of the World Series?
I like interleague play to a degree. I think it, you got the regional, like the Yankees Mets. That's always a good one.
Why not? So when we were young guys, there were 8 teams in each league.
Yeah.
And they traveled by train. The Yankees went to play the White Sox by train.
By train.
That's what it was.
And you knew every player. Players weren't leaving teams, unless it was, like you said, Suzuki Simpson.
Yeah. They just didn't hardly trade, and just what a wonderful sport. It's Tommy.
America's game.
Oh, it is. Thank you, sir. I think
we've got at least 4 more games left, maybe 7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For the season.
And then it's over. And to this day, the last pitch, the last out in the World Series, regardless of who's playing. Yep. I go, damn, no more baseball, but baseball needs to go to sleep for a while.
Yeah.
It needs that.
It makes opening day in spring training a lot better.
Yeah. What a hype and what a build-up that is. I'm on radio here, and I've always talked about today's opening day, and opening day is special, and so's a World Series if you're in it,
It is.
Spring training is nice, too. It gives me that warm feeling because you still got usually snow on the ground here.
Yes.
And you're like, baseball's happening. You're getting close to spring.
Key word is spring.
Yes.
Spring, training, for God's sakes.
It's right around the corner.
Oh, yeah. I've never been. I was in Florida once, and I saw some spring training, but I never. Have you been to a spring training?
I have. I've been down. I've seen the Yankees and Pirates in Bradenton. And that's when Yogi was still, as far as he was a coach. And the minute he'd step out of the dugout, people just go crazy. He had that appeal to, how certain people do.
Yeah, or about Yogi. That's Yogi. You never have to say his last name?
No. No, you don't.
Yogi.
No. Yeah.
And if you want to have some more fun, folks, go on your Google machine and type up Yogi Sayings Classic Sayings.
Oh, yeah.
What a character.
Yogiisms, yeah.
Yogiism.
Lawrence.
Well, are we about the end of the road?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. What we'll do is we'll take a break, maybe play CBS News, and I'll get this set up, and you can do your regular senior talk.
Okay. Oh, I at this point in this show, I want to say this. I'm taking the Dodgers.
Well, Rex, I'm taking the Yankees.
So there you go. Wow.
Surprise, huh?
So there you go. We're all in on a 50-50 deal.
Thank you.
May the best man win.
That's right.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
I'm having a great
Good
time.
idea, Rex.
Thanks for having us. That's great.
I'll turn things over to Molly sooner. We'll do some CBS News and then the regular senior talk coming up next on the Mighty 1630 KCJJ.